Danny, did you see the odds on where Sean Payton's going to be the next head coach? Opened up yesterday. The Cardinals started at the favorite at plus 250. That immediately jumped all the way down to plus 200. Now, why that should interest you if you're a Saints fan listening is because the Cardinals have the third overall pick. The Bears have the first overall pick. We think the Bears do not need a quarterback. We'll see what they end up doing, right? But the point is, there is a path to the Saints getting a top 3 pick, and it's convincing the Cardinals to give up that number 3 pick for Sean Payton. And Jake, I ask you, as a member of NFL locker rooms, because to me, I get that nowadays first-round picks are probably valued more than ever, and something like 2 firsts for Gruden feels absolutely insane and viewed through a modern lens. Yeah. But if I'm the Cardinals, and again, maybe switch thing, but if I'm the Cardinals and I already have my quarterback, so I'm not spending one of those picks on the franchise guy. If I think I already have him, like if my needs are like outside linebacker and safety, are you going to find a player in that top 3 that would outdo the impact that Sean Payton would have on that franchise?
That's on the job of the Saints to sell the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy knows how to win. I'm
Payton's
just
really
telling you. Hey, that guard that you're looking at, I promise you, he's not going to have the impact that Sean's going to have. And so the Cardinals have a choice to make. Now, a 3 sounds wild, but to your point, John Gruden's like 2 1s, 2 2s, and money. I mean, it was wild.
Yeah.
It was a wild trade. And, it got, obviously, a Super Bowl out of it.
They get a Super Bowl.
So you have the quarterback if you're the Cardinals. You've got trade assets in D-Hop if you want to.
Who was apparently on the trade block. It came out yesterday, yeah.
So you can make a move there. You have some young receivers that you feel like maybe you can roll with. You've got a good running game. The roster's not as far off, I think, as the record indicates. They certainly battled through some injuries this year. So if you don't need 1,000 pieces, you have the ability to trade maybe the number 3 overall pick for Sean Payton to be that leader, to be the guy who pulls all the strings. And what can you get for D-Hop? You're going to get more than Houston got for him.
Yeah,
I can promise you that.
More than David Johnson.
So you go ahead and he's on the Saints, and you make the move because, to your point, T, like what could you get that would be more impactful than Sean Payton? Like even though it's a 3, I know it's a 3, but since you have the quarterback, right, wrong, or indifferent, you had the quarterback. I mean, you paid him.
You're already committed.
The money,
You're not getting out of
you
it.
have a trade asset in D-Hop that's going to give you more draft choices. So you kind of have the ability. I think you can make the move. Now, would they want, hey, you're going to give us Sean Payton in that second-round pick you have? Like, is that, like, okay, well, certainly do that if you're the New Orleans Saints so they can get 1 extra pick. Maybe that's something they do. Now, 3 is very steep. It is. But when you look at the Cardinals, because of the way their roster is constructed right now, maybe they can make it make sense to make that move.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it feels a little too good to be true. In a year in which they trade away their first-round pick, that Sean Payton could fetch a top 5 pick at a time when you're looking for quarterback, and at a time when both C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young are out there. I guess my only question would be, Jake, at 3, do you have a chance to get either of those guys? And I'm going to assume that Chicago sticks with Justin Fields, although they've said they'd have to be blown away to not.
They got to be smart businessmen as well. They got to keep their quarterback happy with a comment like that, and also
I'm not saying that's 100%.
Try to generate some trade interest.
Well, so that is the other thing, is that does Chicago end up trading back, and then even with the number 3 overall pick, the Saints will get a chance at either of those quarterbacks?
Depends. It just depends on who's trading up, who they value. You'll have an opportunity at 3. The worst thing that could possibly happen is if you had the 3rd pick and it goes Bryce and C.J. Stroud. Although
that's what I'm saying. Then what do you do?
Then you have, Saints love drafting an edge defender.
Yeah,
here comes Will Anderson.
Okay, that's true. I mean, would not be mad about that.
That
one should work out.
Well, yes, and you'd have more faith initially than you had with Marcus Davenport coming from UTSA or Peyton Turner, who we had the old Mike Detillier out trying to figure out who Peyton Turner was.
Yeah,
but I think you want a quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, you don't like if you believe Will Levis is that guy or someone like that, someone in that exactly.
If you go
I
Will
know.
Levis 3 overall,
I know.
I'm gonna kneecap myself.
I know.
I'm gonna take a
I
baseball
know.
bat to my own kneecaps.
I know. I'm right there. I mean, it feels like Bryce or CJ or bust, but I'm just, you know,
Oof,
if the Bears trade back and a
brutal.
team that needs a quarterback gets that one spot, Texans go quarterback as well. So you go Bryce, CJ.
Yeah, that's what
You're
I'm
sitting
saying.
there at number 3. Now you could trade back as well.
It's still not like it's still worth if you're the Saints. I think to just grab a Will Anderson, but it would be sorely disappointing knowing how close you were to getting one of those two guys that look. I guess I was never really a CJ believer until that semifinal. He's just got to he's got to prove that he can do what the other Ohio State quarterbacks have not been able to.